Thank you again for having me. Thank you, Have Hope. I'm really amazed with Have Hope actually. So, Whitney and I have never met each other or never even talked to each other. And suddenly I got a text one afternoon, and then she was like, "Would you like to come on to this webinar? We do this every Friday." And I immediately stopped. Now we can do that online. I immediately went to their blogspot and as well as their Instagram, and I find that you have an amazing array of speakers, past and upcoming. So I'm really looking forward for this session. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. My name is Au-Diya. I am a third of Seeds Malaysia. So Seeds Malaysia was actually founded by my mom and dad, Raza and Intan. Raza is here. I think Intan is listening in the background as well. So it's just the three of us for now, with the rest of the family running a small um, one slightly lesser than 1 acre piece of land in Klang, Selangor. We are based there now permanently. We just moved there, but the land has been there for about 4 years. We just took it over. So everything you're gonna see today is gonna be 4 years worth of work. All the trees, all the composting, and all our programs are just 4 years old. So we still are learning every day. I'm sure with sustainability, it's one step at a time kind of thing. You can never rush things, but we do what we can, and we hope to inspire as much people as we can. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm gonna share my screen. Yeah. Okay. I hope everyone's seeing this okay. All right. So yes, SEEDS Malaysia stands for Social Eco Enterprise Development for Sustainability. So actually we aren't an NGO per se. We also don't see ourselves as an NGO. But we recently, we had this going on for 4 years, buat sendiri kind of thing. We're doing everything by ourselves, and we were approached by big players in the industry, in the sustainability industry, namely for capacity building like HRDF and whatnot. Therefore, we have upgraded ourselves to an eco enterprise. So we're not actually a business, neither are we an NGO. We are somewhere in the middle. So, yeah. I'm just going to skip through, but I want to talk about first thing about sustainability, and I think this resonates with Have Hope, where we collaborate with a lot of people all around in the Klang Valley, also outside. So I just want to mention and plug some names. If you see in my presentation, we have Chalin Food Forest. Chalin Food Forest is a permaculture um, uh, uh, piece of land in Negeri Sembilan. And it's run by Wan Rizwan. If you have a chance to, or if you want to learn more about permaculture, please do give them a visit. I also would like to mention Follow Farm. Follow Farm, they do enzymes and whatnot. So we have everyone here from all of the industry. We have the Idrisi School, which is a Muslim international school. However, they teach sustainability from ground up. So that means they have gardening practices, they have animals in their school and whatnot. So just a few names. Of course, I'm sure you know Kebun Bangsa. Kebun Kota is another big name in the sustainability industry to check out. They are amazing. So Kebun Kota is in Kuantan. Just look at them on Facebook. They have managed to convert a big piece of land instantaneously into an amazing uh, an amazing business that is sustainable. They have a restaurant and whatnot, so check them out as well. So here are just some of the names. So I'm just gonna skip through some things. This is our permaculture farm in Karak, Bentong. It's about 50 acres, and we were working with goats and sheep. Why it is a permaculture farm is that we introduce a lot of sustainable practices in goat and sheep rearing. Unfortunately, for now, before the PKP, we had to take a pause for a bit on the goat farm and concentrate on Seeds Malaysia. So this is the farm. All right, so this is what we practice per se in the farm. I just wanted to share this with you to show that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of aspects and practices that you can convert yourself to in terms of living or having a business, for example, like this. But it all points to respecting nature and using whatever you can from the environment to sustain your business. So for example, for this goat farm, we had rain harvesting, we did manure composting to turn it to organic fertilizers. We did solar and whatnot lah. So this sketch is from Raza. So before that, Raza and Intan are actually designers. They are graphic designers. They do event designing as well. And my background myself is actually culinary arts. So none of us were in sustainability industry or anything like that. So how it happened is, sorry, how it happened actually. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm having a bad cough. All right, so how it started is Raza and Intan were both very fortunate to grow up sustainably. And as the firstborn, for them, they introduced us with sustainability practices from early on. This was before Selangor had the plastic ban on plastic bags. This was before no straw ban. So we grew up with that. So I just want to point out that wherever you're living, it's very important to instill that in children, in your chuchu, in your grandchildren, because slowly you know they will grow up with that. Make sustainability practices something in your family, something normalize sustainability practices lah. That's the way to go. So in our farm we had a lot of programs and whatnot. We also worked with several universities and whatnot on sustainability, agriculture, and our architecture and whatnot. So this is jungle preservation. I just want to touch this on Marquisa later, but I'll touch a bit on this later, just to show you some things that we did back at the farm. All right, so back in 2014, we actually hosted the Seeds, the first ever Seeds conference. Here we invited specifically teachers and educators to join us. I think for a 2-day was a 2-day weekend program on sustainability. And now back in 2014, you know, sustainability wasn't really like the in thing lah. So, but we still had a lot of support from educators all around the Klang Valley and even out of state as well that came. We had speakers from Hawaii on the right there. It's Dr. Ko Ming Wei, who runs a sustainability school in Hawaii. We had activities and guest speakers and whatnot. So this was back in Pahang. All right, so this was our community garden. We used to stay in Subang Jaya, USJ6. USJ6, among other gardens now, are the 2-time state award recipients for Kebun community. And fortunately, I haven't added this in the slides, but I was also the winner for Anugerah Kejiranan Hijau for last year, category individual. It was a nationwide competition featuring everyone that does sustainability practices in their own homes. So one of the key features of the judging was rainwater harvesting, recycling, upcycling, and what was the other two? Rainwater, upcycling, collaborations with other parties and whatnot. So they judge you based on that. So we were the winners for last year. So we work also with other communities, and being a culinary graduate myself, I have this thing where I plant what I eat and I eat what I plant, as well as everyone who comes to Seeds Malaysia. I'm so it's so unfortunate that we have to do this online. But if you choose to come visit Seeds Malaysia, we always serve good food. We always serve good kampong food, straight from our garden. So this was a class that we were making with the teachers in Negeri Sembilan. So we instill that in one of the sustainability practices for ourselves. We also do garden conceptualizing, especially sustainable gardens. This was the at Mindspace Oasis Village Ara Damansara. So it's not really a big space. As you can see here, is just from this end to this end. We had to make this garden for schools for special children. So it was mostly ground, to the ground. We created experiences that they could feel, touch, and harvest themselves. So instill that. Setting, we managed to self-sustain our vegetables for 9 people. That's my parents, the 6 kids, and also our kakak. So we could feed 9 people and also had surplus to share with our neighbors and whatnot. This was our home back in USG6. Again, we retrofitted it with solar panels, and we had a lot of, this was our kitchen. Sustainable finishing, meaning no tiles, no frou-frou, just whatever we needed for the home. So we try to incorporate as much as we can, both in our business and also our own living. Permaculture design courses. We also do that in Seeds Malaysia. So this is actually our the location now. So we have our home right here, and then walk through the office. This right now is our amazing food forest. We have about 80 plus species of indigenous food trees. Everything from putat, we have labu kayu, we have things that I don't even know what to cook it for. But we always pride ourselves in working with communities like the Orang Asli, because they are the gatekeepers of our seeds. So Marquiza mentioned just now, right? So they have all the seeds in the world. So we're currently, that's one of our projects too. We are currently working with them in terms of collecting seeds. So this is it. So this is the office. This picture was actually taken when we first moved in. All right, this is our example of our courses and whatnot. I really hope we can have a Half Hope group to visit one day. I would really love to show you what we do. That's Intan and my sister Anjuli. Vermicomposting. We also have black beetle compost. But our main sort of source of income to say is our garden compost. So we do the 18-day compost, the Berkeley hot compost, but we tailored it to fit what we have and what we use. So how it works is it takes only 18 days to turn garden waste into compost. We collect from about 30 houses from our neighboring taman, our neighboring area, their garden waste, and then we make it into a recipe. It's done in 18 days. There's no other way that promotes faster and more sustainable way to handle garden waste and garden compost. This was a fox. So we use also inoculants like goat manure and anything on the farm. So this is the result. So we managed to, right now our numbers are at about 1 to 1.5 tons per month of yield from just the garden compost, just the three of us for now, our products and whatnot. So this is our edible garden, where it mainly feeds us as a family, as well as our guests at our homestay. When you stay at Seeds Malaysia, you are free to, if you want to make nasi lemak, just go get down pandan in the garden, no worries. And anything you can find in the garden. This is an example. This is a picture of our food forest. All right. So, apart from our edible garden and our food forest, we have recently started a community food forest, not a community garden, a community food forest in our residential area, Taman Alam Shah Klang. So this is the buffer zone. We have started this much and have now about 40 trees planted. So this land has been, with buffer zone, there's always zoning problems and whatnot. But we managed to convince both Majlis Perbandaran Klang, the local community council, and municipal council, and also Jabatan Pertanian. They have been very supportive in our community food forest, and this is when we first started. So now this area is full of vegetables, and we just had our first yield I think a month ago. So it's been producing quite well. We also do events. As you can see, sustainable decoration and a lot of things like sustainable publishing, because Raza and Intan being designers, they had to incorporate sustainability in that part of business as well. So I just want to share here that anything you do, always question yourself, is there a more sustainable option that I can go to? If it's cooking, can I be more sustainable? If it's decorating, like a table setting dinner, can I be more sustainable? Always question yourself. That is what Raza and Intan taught us from the get-go. For example, this was something they did for the Veritas architecture firm. They created the anniversary book, but they wanted to be sustainable. So at the end of the publishing and the printing and whatnot, they had the carbon footprint counted, and we worked with sustainable publishers as well. So at the end of the book, okay, they said, okay, this is your carbon footprint by creating that book. Now you have to plant 120 trees. So they actually did and went plant 120 trees to offset their carbon footprint. So those are the examples that we inspire people to do. There's always a sustainable choice. Yep. So basically, that's it. This was a tree planting event in Kuching. We managed to plant about 2,200 trees. This was in, I think, 2008, 2009. Yeah. So Raza and Intan. So I guess that's it from me. I'll stop sharing now. Again, I apologize for the cough. I got the flu from my son last week, so I'm a bit stuffy. But I hope everyone's okay. You and me, you want to proceed some questions?
Yes. First of all, you actually started way before 2017, because if you have conferences in 2014, then so how far back actually do you go back? Raza and Intan, how far back, when did you actually start this?
Before the children were born, I suppose.
Yeah. yeah, actually, yeah. But 2014 was our first conference, and then we wanted to make a follow-up conference in 2017, but it didn't really pan out, and we tried again, I think sometime before COVID. We had but in terms of sustainability practices, yeah, we started a long time ago. Seeds Malaysia in Klang itself is only about 4 years old.
Okay, all
Mhm.
right. And to be honest, I'm really so inspired to see the whole variety of things that you have done, from, of course, education. But I love it that you have an edible garden. Not only that, you've promoted a community food forest. There's so many spaces they're working with. And I love that you ask us to always think about before we purchase, we do something, always ask ourselves. I think these are truly inspirational.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you. Because I think like I said, Raza and Intan comes from a design background. I come from culinary background. That's why you always have this questioning thing going on,
yeah.
and everything you do, not just consciously purchasing sustainable products, but um consciously producing books, consciously making food, consciously feeding people, consciously picking who you talk to, and who you want in your community.
Yeah. So you said that you're a social eco enterprise, which is amazing because what it means is whatever you do, it's sustaining, whatever you do is being sustained by a regular revenue of, regular source of revenue to sustain you. It sort of keeps you going that way. So
Correct.
and you said something about the compost
Mm.
being create about one ton, more than a ton. So is that your main source of income, composting, or what else do you have as a regular source of income? Just so that we understand how this social enterprise takes care of itself.
Yeah, so as a social enterprise, we always strive to put the people, profit and planet together. So that differentiates us from being a business or being an NGO per se. We do not accept donations unless you want to donate some plants, which we welcome. But we don't really go like an NGO. So as part of being a social entrepreneurs, our main source of income comes from capacity building, meaning we train people, and we teach about sustainability practices. We teach compost classes. We have permaculture courses and whatnot. And we also, yes, the composting. It's quite like half fun, half income kind of thing. Yeah, but that makes money for us as well as eco enterprise.
Yeah, brilliant. So there is a question about, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your homestay, because I think that is what, now everybody is doing staycation, right? You don't go overseas.
Yes.
So tell us about your homestay.
Yes, thank you for asking the question, Wong Tzu Wei. So, actually, Seeds Malaysia, one part of it is the home, our homestay, and one part of it is the edible garden and the fruit forest. So, we opened our home on Airbnb as well, but unfortunately, due to COVID, ever since the last maybe 2 years, are we 2 years in already? We have been closed at the moment lah. We are looking forward to open maybe sometime in April if things are looking better.
Okay.
So yeah, we list our home on Airbnb, as well as the homestay sites and whatnot.
So what's the capacity in terms of numbers? I think I'm sure whoever who's asking, Ziwei who's asking, would like to know, how many people normally can occupy.
Right. So for families and for Airbnbs, we go to about 10 to 20 packs. But we've done 50 people as well. And bunk beds and room sharing and one. This was pre-COVID. So
Sure.
we have 7 rooms and 8 bathrooms. It's quite a big house. And we have space for trainings and whatnot. As well. So for HRDF, which is the Human Resource Development Fund, where we participated in training 100 participants from the B40 communities, as well as the Orang Asli, the indigenous people from all over Malaysia. We had the opportunity to host about 100 of them. So that was COVID. So it was 20 packs per session.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, someone is saying looking forward to a farm tour of the place. If there's one in future, I can, the moment your farm is open, is it open now for visits?
It actually is, but we
Ah,
are open for private tours. So meaning, if you guys want to come along, maybe we can create a half hope group. So the reason why we do that and we don't accept walk-ins is because one is, COVID obviously. But two is when we have a group of people with the common goal or common mindset, common thinking, it's easier for us to get personalized with you,
sure.
and also it's easier for us to sort of have a sense of what do you do sustainable wise, what do you need from us, what are you trying to learn and whatnot. So maybe we can have the half hope group visit soon.
Oh, that will be brilliant. We will certainly
Yeah.
think about, organizing something in the coming months. Can you explain a little bit more about your Berkeley compost that you can do within 18 days, because it usually take months. So
Yes.
a quick sharing on that.
Sure. Sorry, I don't have the visuals here, but so the Berkeley compost, it's an 18-day compost created by the University of Berkeley. Um, we have tailored it to fit us. Basically, the recipe is we take garden waste from our neighbors. That means fresh grass cuttings, any other trimmings and whatnot. We mix it with manure. And also carbon, meaning the browner leaves and dead branches and whatnot. And it only takes 18 days. The recipe is having like a pyramid shape, 3 feet by 3 feet, or 1 meter high. And it takes only 18 days because we introduce inoculants. For example, we use goat manure because it is accessible to us. So we pick up goat manure from our neighboring goat farm in Klang as well, not in Kara. We pick it up and then we mix it together. So the heat from the inoculants cooks the nitrogens and the carbons together. Therefore, it breaks down in just 18 days. It's more to it actually. Every 2 days you have to flip it around, and it is a lot of manpower or woman power. And but we ourselves, between the three of us, Raza, Intan, and I, we managed to create about 1 ton, 1.5 ton on a good month for us,
Wow.
and for us to use ourselves in our garden, and for us to sell to the community.
Wow. You all work very, very hard then, honestly. It's a lot of
Yes.
physical work, huh?
Yes, it is a lot of physical work, but keeps me young. You and me actually thought I wasn't a mom and I looked like
Yeah.
a school kid, but no, keeps you young actually. Being so close to the earth, grounding yourself every now and then, it keeps you sane, especially now during COVID times.
Yeah, so someone was saying, would love to know where's the homestay on Airbnb. And so I think your sister, Admira, right?
Yes.
Has
Hi,
put in
Admira.
as Instagram, Tok Nene. Oh, how sweet. Tok Nene home away.
Yes, so
Sweet.
our Airbnb X is actually called Tok Nenek Home Away. Because where Seats Malaysia is right now, the actual house was actually built by our grandparents, Razak's parents. Unfortunately, they passed away before we could show them our garden and whatnot. But the house is it was built in 1960. Um, we fortunately have the opportunity to work on the house and work on the garden, and that's where we are right now. But you can't really actually search the name Tok Nenek Home Away on Airbnb. You can just go to Klang, and that's how Airbnb works. You have to search it by location. But yes, our Facebook and Instagram is Tok Nenek Home Away. Thank you for the questions, by the way. I like this session.
Yes. Yes, friends.
Yeah.
Any other questions, friends? So just so you know, Audi, we have someone who have just dialed in from, not just dialed in, she was with us from the very start, from India as well. How about that?
Oh, that's amazing. I don't have
Yeah.
any friends yet from India.
Yeah. So this is Dr. Kartika. She's dialing in from India.
Now you have.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Kartika. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone feeling tonight? Like, if I could just get in the chat, what do you guys do? Maybe one thing that you practice sustainably, or one thing that you would like to know about us. You can just type in the chat.
I love this. I love this. This is really interactive. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm not so I prefer personally, talking. I mean, obviously we'd love to be in your house in Bangsar or my place in Klang, but just type in the chat. I mean, what do you guys want to know, or maybe share what do you guys do, and maybe we could connect from there.
friends, please feel free to do that. But meanwhile, while they are typing, okay, wonderful. Look at that. Sustainable packaging for gifts.
Yes. So, talking about sustainable packaging, I think just last week someone messaged us and asked, do you have seed bombs? We would love to have seed bombs as our dog gift. I assume for a wedding or a party. And I actually had to say, I'm sorry, we don't. Because it's like that. Sustainability is a work in progress for everyone. Even for us, we do a lot of things, but still feel that we don't do enough things. For example, that person was looking for seed bombs, or trying to buy without packaging. There are still things that we are accustomed to in our lifestyles, that creates a barrier for us to go sustainable. We always question, we want to be as sustainable as we can, but for example, in Malaysia, we still buy gardenia bread, that still comes with packaging. There's no, I mean, I make my own bread sometimes, and I'm the cook, so but we still buy those things. Some things like rice and whatnot still comes with the packaging. So then you have to ask yourself, can you afford the more sustainable choice, which is, zero waste products from zero waste shops and whatnot? If not, what do you do with the packaging? For us, we like I mentioned, we go through gardenia bread and rice and whatnot that still comes in packaging. Especially when we cater to our visitors and whatnot. But we make use of the packaging in terms of, we use them back for their dog gifts and whatnot. So we don't purchase anything new for their dog gifts. We don't go out and buy a box for them. We just give whatever we can. Sometimes we source for 100 plus bottles from the recycling center. So we already know people are throwing a lot of stuff. Um, Obviously, reducing and choosing sustainable options is the first way that everyone should be. But we can also think about upcycling and retrofitting and whatnot. So I hope that helps.
That's right. That's right. I think it's just very, if all of us will just stop and ask ourselves questions like what you've asked, I think that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone is talking about Makisa just typed about Ravi being the master composter of the Damansara Kebun. Yes. So
All
there's a
right.
Damansara Kebun organic community as well. Yeah. It is wonderful that this this type of community farming or guerrilla farming, or all this are happening across our communities, because otherwise we are, there's just too much concrete around us, and it's, if we can salvage little plot of lands, I think that's already very helpful.
Yeah, because we already know that apart from being, there's a lot of concrete, there's a lot of red tape as well. So I'm not asking you to go around crazy and start new gardens, but guerrilla gardening is is definitely something that is needed, or else we're not going to get that carbon footprint down by 2030, as we all
That's right.
know from the recent,
Hope.
yeah.
You, I was just thinking, like for instance, we live in Bangsar, right? So
Mhm,
just outside our house is the main road of Jalan Ara.
mhm.
Between the main road is a pavement. Of course, there's a pavement. But next to the pavement, which is just very near to our house, is actually a patch of green.
Mhm.
So we can either just leave it random green like that, and soil and grass, or actually plant things there. And whoever who wants can actually pick up whatever they want from that. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think we don't do this enough. I've seen in many places, especially in Australia, where they will look for little plots like this and just plant vegetables and whatever in it. And it doesn't matter who picks up the food. I think the point is just utilize those spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because or else it's gonna be left, or paved with concrete and whatnot. But that being said, again, there's a lot of red tape here and there, even
Yeah, I
for
know.
like a 5 by 5 feet garden space. It's gonna be a hassle to fight over. But I just wanted to share what happened. For in our community garden in USJ 6 Subang Jaya. So this was before the LRT, the new LRT line that passes Subang Jaya. So the community, they had to actually fight for the playground because they wanted to turn it into a parking space. MRT needs parking and whatnot, obviously for the public and for the people who get on board of the trains. But fighting actually works. Speaking up actually works, especially now with social media. Doesn't matter if you're fighting the municipal council or you're fighting, the yellow umbrella people, but voice out your concerns for the environment. I cannot stress that enough. I know youth are doing it more and more. We have more consciousness towards climate change and sustainable changes. But would love to see more people, just planting gardens and planting fruit trees for everyone to share. And Malaysia is the land of fruits. We have a lot of beautiful fruits. So it's amazing what we can do. Our food forests, why we choose food forests over community gardens is because the permaculture aspect of it, the permanency of it. So if you're not familiar with food forests, I urge you to look into it, and maybe that is something that you can do even in your apartment that has a apartment community gardens and whatnot. Even you can even do a small food forest conceptual garden in your area. So look into food forest. It's a very sustainable option as well.
So if you look at the chat box, there's some
Mm.
really wonderful comments coming up. From Tengku Husna, she says, love what you do, would like to start living off the
Thank you,
grid.
Tengku.
What to do, who can help? I'm in Bangi.
You're in Bangi. Hi. So, maybe a start is you can join permaculture groups, or you can join gardening groups, or try to find community gardens around the area. If there is none in Bangi, start one. Just go ahead and go plant that banana tree or banana circle, or fruit trees. Sometimes if Malays, we say segan, that means we are quite shy, segan-segan macam tu kan. But if you think about it, if you see someone planting or starting a garden, and for example, I have Chan YS or Tengku Husna, saw me suddenly one day planting some banana trees, and they are intrigued. So that's how you get people. Find common people to share with you. If you can't, just ask around. I hope you get to start one in Bangi soon.
That's right. So that's what guerrilla farming is. Because
Yes.
someone asked, I think Dr. Kartika asked, what is guerrilla farming? Guerrilla farming is don't ask permission, just go and plant whatever you want. Of course, in very safe areas, don't plant at the traffic lights, right? but
Yes.
plant in places where it's safe. Like I love what Lily just posted. 7 bus stops in Singapore have been transformed into community farms. Vegetables
Yes.
grown are donated to local charity kitchen. Can you imagine?
Yes,
Um,
I saw that posting as well. They have the same concept as Kebun Bangsa, right? Where they have a community garden, and I mean, bus stops are one thing. Our magical bus stops are, being in Singapore. That's a great way of advertising sustainability, or even just gardening in the concept in public. But what Kebun Mangsa does is they don't plant to sell. They plant for the communities who need them, and anyone can just walk in. And Sixan started with guerrilla, the concept guerrilla as well. So actually, we also started the our food forest, community food forest, guerrilla as well. We've always had a good relationship with the agriculture
I
Jabatan
see, I
Pernianan,
see.
and
Yeah.
also the Klang Municipal Council. However, it took us quite a few years with Raza walking, back and forth to meet the municipal people. They turned us down so many times. We actually had to, do everything in our power, and it came down to, what, if you're not gonna give us the your consent, we're just gonna plant things anyway, and then we'll see what to do about it.
Yes.
So fortunately, they with the change of power over the municipal council and new sustainability practices, I think it's getting more trendy as well. So don't give up.
Yeah, it reminds me of that saying that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to get permission.
Yeah.
So, you know,
True.
yeah. So someone is saying, TM Lee is saying, can we plant food crop under flyovers? A lot of land are left idle. So true, so true. Well, I think if there's a group of you who maybe at first maybe begin by talking to people, but permission is not granted, think about working in a safe way, because flyovers means it's a very, very busy maybe area. So the last thing we want is people getting hurt.
Well, you need sunlight as well.
Yeah, so find
Right.
places that are less maybe controversial, like
Like
bus
bus
stops. I
stops,
love
yeah.
the idea of bus stops. I also watched a Singapore documentary, which again was fascinating, because they want to do composting, right? But it's hard to do composting in HDB flats and all that. So what they did was there is down at the that void deck area, they have someone that collects the compost, sorry, not compost, the vegetable scraps, the food scraps. Every day they will put into this place. So that place is a collection point for it.
Yes.
And then somebody will come and collect it, and then changes in compost, bring back there so that they can also use it, which I thought was again very, very, it's so encouraging to see the community coming together, not individually worrying about composting, but the HDB flat, thinking about it as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people staying in high rise, I know there's a big layout where issue when how am I going to do 18-day compost? That's the thing. You don't have to do 18-day compost. You do what you have to. You can try vermicomposting, which is just practically a small bin, or you can start a community garden within your high-rise residential area. There, you are bound to find people with common interests. And I just want to touch on the flyovers.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, Audi. Still not yet. Not yet hearing
What
you.
happened?
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Now we hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I think my internet is a bit unstable. Okay, so I was mentioning about the flyovers. So maybe not vegetable gardens, the way to go. We need sunlight and whatnot, and there are a lot of safety issues as well as roadworks issues and road use issues. But we can think about maybe flowers that can sustain, or maybe ferns. We have we need to keep the habitat going. So maybe by introducing flowers and plants and ground covers, the space will not be totally unused, and you can still create attract bees and whatnot lah. So maybe that's a good
Yeah.
option as well.
Yeah, I just want to say that KY Lee said that she or he just planted 5 banana trees in the condo without permission, and so encouraged she's going to plant more because now she knows that it's called guerrilla farming.
Yes, awesome, Lee.
Of course, Lily spoke of it's talking about rooftop gardens, farms, bokashi. Of course, we can do bokashi
Yep.
composting. You want to talk a little bit about bokashi?
Okay, so bokashi is a type of composting where it uses mainly food waste, cooked food waste. So for uncooked food scraps, it's another thing you can easily compost in your garden and whatnot. But bokashi takes a bit there's a bit of science to it. What you do is they sell those bokashi bins. It's really easy. It uses the EM powder that you can buy or make. So what happens is just you put your layer of food scraps, and then a layer of EM, and then go layer by layer. After 2 weeks, or maybe what is it, 2 months? I don't remember. Maybe it's 2 months. You can actually harvest the bokashi tea to use it to your plants, and also after that you just take the whole bin of scraps, plant it in the ground, and let it set for about another 2 months, and then you can plant things above that, because that is going to create a very heavy microorganism soil, very healthy living soil under that before you plant new trees.
Yeah, I've a regular of this space, Lamping. I know many of you know her. Lamping swears by this. Because she has a small apartment. What she does is she used a flower pot to do her compost. So first she put old salt, because she plants a lot. So there's some old salt that she put. Then she put the scraps on it. Then she put old salt on top of it. She swears by it. 3 weeks and it's done. She says it can be used within 3 weeks.
Exactly. It's the same concept. So Razak has this saying that he uses a lot of time. No compost is bad compost. So no wonder if you're 18-day compost, or you're doing cold compost that takes like 3 months or forever to be done, or just as amazing as collecting coffee grounds from Starbucks. They give those out now, and also in your own pot. So no compost is bad compost. Every living thing has to die, and every new thing will be born out of it. So that is the thing that I want to stress here.
Yeah,
That's
fantastic.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Any more questions, friends? Any more? This has been simply amazing, this conversation.
Actually, you could speak out, unmute
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, if anybody have a question, feel free to just unmute and ask.
Yeah, you can also turn on your cameras. It's okay. It's a chill night. I hope everyone's still okay. I'm looking forward to actually we started visits already, but not for the Airbnb. So we're
Okay.
gonna open maybe after Raya, if things are okay, with
Okay.
the pandemic and whatnot.
Brilliant. You should drop me a note the moment these are open so I can then
Absolutely.
forward to the friends here. And of course, like I said, staycation is the way to go now,
Yes.
Yeah. Right, friends. I just want to say, since I don't see any more questions, I just want to say this is so inspiring. Really, like you said, it started with your parents, and now you have taken over, and the residence the house was built by your grandparents. I mean, this amazing legacy is there, and now you have a child. How beautiful this whole story continues, this journey continues.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for you to enlighten us as to the possibilities of how every single one of us can do differently in terms of leading a more sustainable lifestyle, whether it's about choices of purchasing and how we discard the things after we use them, as well, especially in terms of food scraps, coffee, tea, eggshells, so many things we can do. And not only that, you have presented to us now a new place to visit. And and really so grateful. Friends, can you please all unmute and help me warmly thank Au-Diya, the sister Amira, and of course the parents Intan and Razak, who have been so kind to spend
Thank
an
you so
hour
much
with
for
us.
joining us.
Yeah, so can we please?
Thank you.
Well done, Au-Diya.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you so much
energy.
to our host and our speaker.
Thank you, Miss Chan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank
Ay,
you.
That's Intan.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good
So
night.
good night. Good night. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Take care, friends.
Thank
See you
you.
next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah,
Night.
bye.